Life can be hectic sometimes, which is why it's important to have a place you can go to relax. For many people, that means spending time at the beach. When you jump into the water and submerge yourself, it mentally rids you of any negativity. Although this is fine, watch out for some deceitful moves that could ruin the quality of your vacation. Here are 10 of the most dangerous, cutest creatures you'll have to worry about. Number 10. Pfeffer's flamboyant cuttlefish. Cuttlefish have always been a scientific wonder, and Pfeffer's flamboyant cuttlefish is probably the most impressive. Like any other cuttlefish, its brain is impressively powerful, as it can command each cell to change its skin's texture, dexterously maneuvers tentacles with ease, and switch colors either to lure and prey or avoid predators. It also has great eyesight that could easily rival even our own. Imagine those two capabilities in a small sea creature. But the most notable thing about it, and perhaps the scariest fact, is it has a powerful toxin. You'll know it's about to deliver its potent venom once it manipulates this chromatophore, creating black, white, and yellow patches on its skin, while its arms turn bright red, and the flesh itself is the thing that carries the poison. Until now, its toxicity still remains a mystery to science, though it's certainly just as toxic as the blue-ringed octopus. Number 9. Blue-ringed octopus and stingray. The color blue is usually associated with calmness and relaxation, but that's far from what these two blue-streaked swimmers represent. Let's start with the blue-ringed octopus. This little fellow is only 12 to 20 centimeters long, weighs only 25 to 80 grams, and is a shy creature contrary to its name. It's actually colored dark brown and yellow and resting. When it gets provoked, that's when the blue rings appear, and that's your only warning. Its beak-like jaws release tetrodotoxin, a substance also found in the flesh of pufferfish, which could lead to paralysis, difficulty breathing, and eventually cardiac failure. Another dangerous but beautiful sea creature is the blue-spotted stingray, also known as the blue-spotted ribbon tail ray. Its tail has venom, but that's not your main concern. When it needs to defend itself, it can use its betoid spine to jab multiple times, potentially piercing through vital organs and major blood vessels. That's what makes it lethal. Number 8. Surgeon fish. Who would have thought that one of the prettiest fishes roaming the tropical seas could do you harm? I'm talking about surgeon fish, also known as tangs, and they got their name for good reason. If you see one swimming about, it sure is a thrill to watch with its calm and serene facade. But don't make the mistake of trying to grab it. If threatened, it can whip out its razor-sharp spines from its tail and cause serious injuries. It's hiding the surgical too, like a scalpel on its tail, and it is not afraid to use it. Do you have to rush to shore when you see one? Not necessarily. The surgeon fish only uses its sharp tail as a defense mechanism. So if you see one, feel free to look at it from a distance. But never ever try to disturb it, or this fish might send you to the surgeon. Number 7. NudiBranch. When you dive into the ocean, you'll most likely find soft-bodied sea creatures that come in a variety of irregular shapes, known as NudiBranchs. What's similar for all kinds of NudiBranchs is that they're carnivorous, feeding on sea anemones, corals, sea eggs, and sponges. They're also brightly colored with attractive patterns, making them a sight for sore eyes. A moniker they have is naked sea slugs because they look like snails without shells. But don't let their cute facade and seemingly defenseless build for you. NudiBranchs are known to have chemical defenses in the form of toxins, which they get from their ingested prey. These toxins are incorporated into their tissues, and then they flash vivid colors to let predators know they're dangerous. As a matter of fact, the blue dragon, known as the deadliest NudiBranch, feeds on the deadly Portuguese man-o'-war jellyfish because it's immune to its poison. It can extract the venom and then make it even more concentrated and lethal, which means it's even more fearsome than well-known poisonous organisms. Number 6. Indonesian needlefish. The first few creatures are deadly if you encounter them in the water. Maybe if you stayed above the water, like say on a boat, you'll be safe, right? Not necessarily. Meet the needlefish, which is named as such because of its slender body and pointed beaks that resemble a sharp needle. They swim gracefully, and their sleek body allows them to nimbly maneuver underwater. A school of needlefish can usually be seen swimming near the surface while hunting for prey. That makes them vulnerable to common predators, such as sharks and dolphins. However, their thin bodies and pointed beaks aren't just for show. These characteristics help them swim fast, allowing them to reach incredible speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour, and then suddenly jump out of the water and leap above small boats. The result? They've been reported to have hailed fishermen at night. They must have been attracted to the night lights that fishermen often carry. So now you're not always safe, even if you don't dive in. Number 5. Flower urchin. The bottom of the ocean is a truly mesmerizing environment, but don't ever make the mistake of touching anything. Especially the flower urchin. Like its name implies, it looks like a cross between a weirdly enticing flower and a circular sponge with spines. They're usually seen anchored on coral reefs, like ornamental decorations of the sea with their white or paint color scheme. They sway with the current as if coaxing you to come closer, which you can do, but again, never even attempt to grab it. You see, the flower urchin is extremely poisonous when handled with your bare hands. It's not the spines that you should be worried about, but the pedicel area. These inject poison almost immediately, and their effects are swift. Some of the dreadful things you can experience include severe pain, difficulty breathing, and disorientation. If you mistakenly get pricked and no immediate medical attention is available, quickly apply hot water on the affected area. The poison is protein-based and the heat can help break up the protein chains. Number 4. Crown-of-thorns starfish. Are you an avid Pokemon fan? Well, see if you can guess what Pokemon is based on the crown of thorns of starfish. Here's a clue. It destroys coral reefs by feasting on the growing polyps. That's enough information for you to know it's marine in the anime. Similar to the said Pokemon, who loves to munch on corsolas, the crown-of-thorns starfish is known as corallivore, which means it eats coral polyps. It plays an essential role in balancing the ecosystem by feeding on fast-growing corals. Their color ranges from purplish blue to reddish gray, with spikes covering its entire body. Hence the name, crown of thorns. While they're good for the environment and their coloration looks marvelous, you should only admire them from afar. You see, their large, sharp spines are covered in potent venom, known as plantotoxin. Even a small cut can cause sharp stinging pain, persistent bleeding, nausea, and even tissue swelling that could persist for weeks. That's not a pretty sight. Number 3. Electric eel. Some sea creatures use quick reflexes to escape harm. But there are those that may be sluggish yet pack a wallop with an unconventional defense mechanism: electricity. This is what the electric eel is notoriously famous for. They employ their electric personalities to stun their prey, and they have no trouble using this to defend themselves as well. As a matter of fact, the current they produce is so strong that one electric eel can generate more than 500 volts of electricity. That's enough to stun and kill an adult human. Should they be feared though? Not necessarily. They don't intentionally attack humans. Rather, they release jolts to defend themselves. That means you should just stay out of their way, and they will too. They usually thrive in stagnant, murky waters where they hunt for invertebrate, and you can see them rising to the surface to gasp for air. That should be enough warning signs for you, right? Number 2. Lionfish and Catfish. Have you heard the advice that you should never dump your aquarium fish in the water? It's because some are highly invasive, so much so that orders to call are now in place, like for these two. The first is the lionfish, a common aquarium fish because of their attractive frills. But that's exactly where they need to be in a controlled environment. Lionfish in the wild are an incredible invasive species that could cause imbalance by eating other beneficial fishes. And the threat to humans can't be underestimated, as their spines deliver venom that causes extreme pain, respiratory distress, and even paralysis. Another common aquarium fish that may be dangerous are catfish. They have distinct whiskers, similar to cats, thus their name. But don't let their rugged cuteness fool you, as different species of catfish can cause serious harm in a variety of ways. Most have spines on their pectoral dorsal fins that contain venom. The electric catfish in Africa can even deliver 450 volts of electricity. Elsewhere, the parasitic catfish of South America sometimes invades urogenital openings of humans. Now, that's just nasty. Before I reveal the most outrageous example in this list, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to this channel. We upload amazing fact-filled videos every day, so don't miss out on learning some amazing new information. Also, hit that bell icon for notifications on more amazing fact-filled videos. Number 1. Mandarin Fish. We are now at the top spot, and it's reserved for arguably one of the most beautiful fishes in the ocean. While it looks pretty, it is equally toxic even to predators. Meet the Mandarin fish, one of the few species in the world that actually produces its own blue coloring. The vibrant hue emitted by the Mandarin fish is not only meant for it to look attractive during courtship, but it is also a clear signal of danger. It's telling predators that they do not want to eat the Mandarin fish, or they'll be sorry. If visual signs don't work, then perhaps their smell should be enough to ward off incoming threats. The mucus covering its skin has a strong noxious odor, which it actually needs to compensate for its lack of scales. But if they still insist on trying to munch on it, the thick toxic mucus should easily deter or even kill them. That being said, you should never ever touch a Mandarin fish. Which creature gave you the most chills? Do you know any sea dwellers that should have been in this list? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.